show's Royal Corner Extra. This week on the Royal Corner Extra, I have two fabulous commentators who will be joining me to discuss all things that's going on with the House of Windsor, the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten, and of course, always the good news about the Duchess of Sussex and the Duke of Sussex. Welcome to the Royal Corner Extra, and my guests this evening are Dami Ann, who is a commentator on TikTok, and she has been motivated to talk about the Sussexes and engage with people primarily because they need defending quite a lot of the time. So Dami, welcome to the space.
Thank you.
And we also have Chiq, for someone who has been quite a vocal individual in many of my radio shows in the evening. And she invariably talks a lot about the roles and their commentary. And I'm very pleased to welcome you to the Royal Corner Extra, Chiq.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Okay, guys, look, I'm going to kick off really quickly because time is of the essence. And the first thing I wanted to say, thank you so much for joining. But I really, given where we are, the main news that's dominating the news, even though we do love the Sussexes and all things Sussex, but the main news today has to be the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten and the fact that he was arrested today on charges of misconduct in a public office. And what I wanted to do is to get both of your opinions about, one, did you even think this was going to take place? I'm going to start with you, Dami. Did you even think this was going to take place? And also, do you think it's going to go to trial? And then I'm just going to kick that question over to Chiq as well.
Thank you, Denise. So, no, I actually didn't think it was going to take place because there's been a lot of back and forth with, is it going to get arrested? Is it going to get charged? Is anything going to come of it? And all of that stuff, with Parliament saying, they're not going to pursue it and blah, blah, blah. But when I heard of the arrests, and then I read that it was for his misconduct in public office. That's why he was arrested. And then I paused and thought, why on earth was he not arrested or even formally questioned when Virginia first accused him? Why did they have to find something else to arrest him over when everybody were all waiting for him to be at least questioned, at least called in for questioning when all of the sexual offences were first talked about? So for me, and then now I've read how Virginia's family see it as some sort of win, and everyone's like, it's a win. They needed something to take him down for because the public, everyone's shouting, there's an outcry, and so they needed something, but they could not take him down for the sexual offences because too many people are involved. We all know the royal family. We all know what's been going on. The king's best friend was Jim Savile, Peterborough. So if you open that kind of worms, if you were arrested for the very thing we all wanted him arrested for, it'd be too many people going down with him. So they obviously needed another excuse. So he doesn't go down on the sexual offenders register, for example, now, no matter what comes of this arrest. And frankly, this arrest, he wasn't in handcuffs or anything. He was followed by his protection officer. He wasn't arrested like a normal person would be arrested. So for me...
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point. Because, presumably the protection officer is the protection officer in the cell with him.
Exactly. So it was an anti-climax when I read all of these things. And this country, with the rise of the right wing, crying about protecting women and children. But when it was about women and children, nobody did anything. He wasn't arrested. He wasn't questioned. So what are you talking about protecting women and children about? So yeah, for me it's a bit of a all right, we'll see.
I think those are interesting points as well, Dami, primarily because, like you said, so many people knew and were aware for such a long time of the wrongdoing, and I don't necessarily know if a charge for not just misconduct in public office but for other offences will be coming at a later date, because there's six police authorities investigating the issue of people being flown in to engage in activities of a sexual nature and
Yeah,
the airports being used like that. Let's not forget what
yeah,
happened with Diddy. They
yeah,
tried to get Diddy on the RICO charge. I think it was like, money from, I think it's ill-gotten gains, but basically from
yeah.
nefarious money, but
Mm.
also on the trafficking issue,
Yeah.
taking people to other parts. So I think just at the moment we are here, but I
Mm.
don't think we're not going to be somewhere else in a week or two, because this is moving at a very, very quick pace. So Top Chick, can you just jump all over the same question? Did you think he was going to be arrested? And do you think it's going to go to a proper investigation? Because if you notice, the language is we are assessing. Everything is being assessed, because investigation and House of Windsor don't go in the same sentence. So what do you think, Top Chick? Did you think he was going to be arrested? And do you think he's going to move from an assessment to an investigation to possibly even a charge?
That's a long way off, isn't it? I think, like everybody else, when I heard the news today, I was surprised. I think we all had hoped
Mm-hmm.
that something, anything would happen. And
Hold on,
this
because
is
the
that
meeting
something.
mm-hmm.
Sorry?
It says the meeting's going to end in 10 minutes. So
All
what would
right, okay.
happen is I will
Oh,
cut it and then we'll just jump onto the part two link, yeah?
okay.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Top Chick,
So
to cut
yeah, I think
across you.
we'd all hoped that it would, something would occur.
Mm,
And it has. I think that we cannot take away the how momentous that is. I think the last person in the royal family to be arrested like this was Charles the First or something, and we all know what happened to him. So we're looking at sometime in the 1700s. So it is momentous what has
yeah.
happened. Having said all of that, do I think there's a couple of things? I think I agree with everything that Dami said, but one of the things which occurs to me is it's about getting him in the door.
What do you mean, like getting him arrested because he's had
Yeah,
his DNA taken? Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's
yeah.
about
He has to be
getting him
processed
in
like an
the
ordinary
door. He has to
person.
be processed like anybody, any other person that is arrested. And it's about getting him in the door. If it was down to him, we have seen that he is not going to do anything. There is no movement there. He
Hmm.
wasn't forced to do anything. So the fact that and I agree with Dami, I understand what she's saying, but to me, it's about you've got him in the door. You were never going to get him in the door in any other way. So no matter, yes, he's denied all wrongdoing. We have to always, say that he's denied all wrongdoing. However, I think the momentum with which this whole episode is moving, it's easy for a person like the late Queen's second son, to disappear in the melee. It's easy for them because they have the connections, they have the finances, and all of those sorts of
He's a flight
things.
risk, apparently.
Of course, he's a flight risk. Of course,
They should
he's a
take
flight
his
risk.
passport.
Yeah, but then I don't know. Do they have to travel with passports? I don't know. I don't know. I don't. We cannot presume that his ability to travel is the same as yours and mine. I don't know that we can make that presumption. Just by mere virtue of existence, he's able to do far more things than you and I could ever dream of doing.
Mm.
So I think for me, it was just about, to me today is about getting him in the door. Will anything else come from that? I don't know. And I wouldn't be too quick to be uncharitable about the Dufresne family. I wouldn't be too quick to, because those people have suffered. They have suffered. And the fact that he has been arrested, okay, it's not for the things that they want him to be arrested for, but they've got him in the door. And I think for them, thank God that's not I don't have to understand what that means. But I think it's important for them to see at least that something, be it the right thing, that's a different conversation. But the fact that something has happened to somebody like that must be for them something worth holding on to, considering where it is they have come from with her trafficking and all of the things, and now she's dead and all of that. So I think, you
Unalive.
know, I think for them, it's a big deal. I think for everyone it's a big deal, but for them especially, because it's a something. It may not be a lot, but it is a something. And sometimes some things are better than no things whatsoever, which was what they were having up until yesterday.
Dami, did you want to jump back on?
Yeah, I hope I didn't come across as being uncharitable to her family. I was just saying that generally a lot of people are like, oh great, he's been arrested for this. And then if you don't read well into it, you'll think, yeah, he was arrested for what he did, the sexual offenses. And then you find out, no, actually it wasn't. I mean, for me, it's like somebody hits somebody, you hit somebody with a car, and then you get away with it for ages, and then suddenly something else happens, you get arrested for that thing. You weren't arrested for the very crime, you know, we've all been clamoring you should be arrested for. So that's where that's coming from. Not just Virginia's family. Now I just mentioned them because obviously they were very happy he got arrested and that stuff. But I would like for there to be an acknowledgement from the authorities, the government, even the king, the royal family, that yes, he's denied wrongdoing, but yes, we would be talking, questioning him about these things that he was accused of. The sexual offences part of it. We want an acknowledgement of it. We don't want it to be about a state. We care about women and children. We want to hear that. We want to hear that you care about what's been happening with the women and the kids.
I mean,
isn't
talk about...
Kate? Hold on a second, Chiq. Isn't Kate and Queen, the king's wife, right, I'm being charitable on this particular occasion, yeah? Aren't they both patrons of charities that relate to the safety of children, women and girls?
Yeah.
So
yes, I do believe so.
To me, yeah, so it seems pretty hollow to me that you, like Dami's saying, you're concerned about women and girls, but yet you are a patron of a charity which you purports to be a work exercise for you. I mean, they probably haven't been there in like the last 3 summers, but you know, their name's still stuck up on a board somewhere. But that to me is an important element for people to have the recognition, because let's not forget the amount of media coverage that was given to the young white girls that were being raped by the gangs in, I think it was Oldham.
Rotherham.
So, and there was Rotherham, and we've had a public inquiry into that because it was seen that there was some degree of state collusion with those children not having proper justice. So how do we go from this point? Because this to me is really key. You have key members of the establishment involved in compromising the country's security and commercial interests, and also engaging in activities of a sexual nature, possibly with minors, but also with people,
Allegedly.
who have been trafficked.
Allegedly.
Sorry, who allegedly have been trafficked, and this is all being investigated. So I think those are such serious positions that they're in, that you know, you've got he's come into the room at the moment, but I think more is going to be revealed, and he is going to have other charges, because you've got the likes of Gordon Brown, like we said, writing to Manchester police. So I feel like, you know, did you want to jump back on Chiq?
No, I just think that, no, I don't disagree with anything you've said there, Denise. I think we got to be really careful about the things that we say here, because the two offences are very separate. His arrest is for compromising the state. And I think both you and Dami are absolutely correct when you say, but you've got all of this stuff, really serious, very detrimental, just absolutely horrific stuff.
Oh my God.
Which he has
1 minute 56.
Right, which he has denied. What I think is really interesting is that he hasn't denied this. So he has not denied the passing of the it's espionage, isn't it? Isn't that what you call espionage? Where
Yep.
people just and treasonous. He hasn't
Treason.
denied that.
Mm.
He has not denied that, which I think is really, really interesting. But now maybe people might say, well, it hasn't been out there long enough. But I don't know. I'm not a religious person, but only God can come down and tell me that people did not know what was going on with that man.
Mm.
You know, everybody knew what was going on with that man. And I think where we are now, the public pressure that has been
Yes.
Yep.
brought to bear is
Mm.
why we are now seeing. And I think what will be very interesting is obviously this whole business with the espionage and blah, 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 and all of that. How then do we weave in, as Dami was asking, how do we weave in all of this other stuff where you have these proclivities for alleged impropriety with minors and things like that? How do
Mm.
we weave that in? Because
Mm.
in my view,
Mm.
don't get me wrong, espionage, oh, that's serious stuff. But this,
It's gonna cut.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's on a
it's
whole
gonna
nother
cut off.
level.
Okay, just hold that point, top chick. I'm gonna come back, and we are taking a commercial break, and we will be right back after our sponsors.
So get on
Okay,
the
people. I don't have any sponsors. That was just a joke. I'm just gonna go. Thank you for returning after our commercial break. Don't forget to join the Headley Highlight Show every Friday on X at 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where the Royal Corner is our weekly Royal feature. But this week, we have a bit extra for you, darlings. The Royal Corner Extra with my beautiful guests, Dami Ann from TikTok and Top Chick. Welcome back.
Hiya.
So, you were saying that one of the points I think you were making at the end was that the public's uproar about this is one of the key things that have been motivating the recent action. But I actually think that uproar would not have happened if in America there was no email dump, because no action was taken against the king's brother until the publication of the email dump, because then anybody could go in, use the search bar, and find him doing allegedly a down-facing dog over some woman.
Okay, so I don't know that. And the reason I say I don't know that is because of the reason why he has been arrested. So don't forget, a couple of weeks ago, we had the whole Peter Mandelson scandal.
Hmm?
And that has opened Pandora's box. And when you open Pandora's box, you can't close it back because all manner of ugliness comes out. I
Do you
think
think that he would have been arrested anyway if they didn't do the
I
email
don't
dump?
know. I don't know that he would have been arrested like the way he was and quite so publicly, because obviously journalists would have known, journalists would have known, otherwise they wouldn't have been there. You wouldn't have been able to watch it on TV. People knew that it was happening. I don't know that that would not have happened, and I don't know that it would not. I certainly don't think it would have been perhaps quite as public as it has been. But you also need to remember that the protection of the monarchy is what this is about. It's not about whether the late Queen's second son has done bad things. Of course, he did bad things. He was doing it from time. Everybody knows that he is, an alleged monster. These are awful people. They are bad actors. They are bad actors. He's a bad one. It's as simple as that. And that's not something that has not been known. Nobody has anything good to say about him except his ex-wife and possibly his children. Although, from what I can see, they're trying to distance themselves as much as possible. So I do think that this business with the state is what tipped the balance. I do think that. And at the end of the day, I also think that, it's the protection of the monarchy is really, really important to these people. They threw Diana under the bus. They threw Sarah Ferguson under the bus up until really recently. And now they've thrown her under the bus again. If you look at the way that this whole stuff with the email dumping, they never spoke about him. They spoke about her. They spoke about what she did and what her children may allegedly did, etc., and sending emails and taking money and all of that. They never
Never spoke about who?
they didn't
Sarah
speak about
Ferguson.
Andrew. No, they spoke about Sarah Ferguson.
Oh,
They didn't speak about Andrew. They did not. They spoke about how, how could she as a mother be taking her children to do this and blah, and all of that. They never spoke about him. However, since this whole espionage thing has come into play, this whole selling secrets, or probably not even selling, just giving, I don't know. But since that, it's like the mood has changed. The mood has changed. And so back to Dami's point, when she was talking about, protecting of women and girls, they have been doing this forever. These people have been doing this kind of thing forever. This is not new, and everybody knew about it. The reason that he has been arrested is because of it's a business of the state, and the monarchy is the business of the state.
Dami, do you want to jump all over that point?
Yes, I personally think now, after reading more about it and into it, I think we're being thrown a bone. That's what I think. I think this is just like I alluded to. This is just to get people to focus on, oh, at least he's been arrested. At least he's been arrested. He's finally been arrested. Because we're like, why is he still living in houses paid for by taxpayers? Yes, his brother, the king, paying for it and all of that stuff.
Please.
Why does he still have protection and all of that stuff? So we were asking questions. People were asking questions. And, I posted a video and I said, it shows that some of these noise that we're making, even though it may take a while, it is registry. There's an unrest, and there's more people saying now abolish the monarchy. So they've thrown us a bone. We can't complain much. We can ask questions. We can say, oh, but maybe, like like you've asked, maybe more things they're gonna add more things to the charge and all of that stuff to why we're arrested. Yeah. We're gonna speculate, and then all while hoping it would die down, like everything else dies down. We will stop talking about it eventually at some point. They will maybe give him a sentence or charge him something.
It's a pattern of
behavior. But
behavior.
basically, I think it's true, I suppose.
Well, I think so. If when you're not talking, Top Chick, could you just mute? Because I think I can hear some background noise there. But
sorry.
I think that's okay. But I think that they have to be seen to be doing something. I think the reason is because of the heinous nature of the content of the emails, and also the amount of kind of brutality that people are talking about in terms of the things that people have endured and the lack of humanity. So now that they're seeing that Mr. Epstein had 6 or so tankers of sulfuric acid at his property. He had a trapdoor that linked straight into the sea. And you're now seeing all of these individuals who have been put in front of us as people that we should hold up, such as some of these gurus, some of these spiritual leaders, some of these celebrities. It's what I think the public are finding so difficult is just how international this thing is, just how horrible it is, because how many people are talking about what's happening to them, and the consistent lack of accountability. So you've had now Peter Mandelson's property in Brazil being investigated because it appears that there is some impropriety in relation to that purchase and the way he got the money from. Then you have had, I think it's the senior member of Norway. He's been arrested because he's now embroiled in the Epstein issue. Now you've got Andrew Windsor, the king's son, being arrested. So, you have some very people at the very top of the political and establishment chain being arrested, but the rest of them are at the moment sitting a little bit back from it. And I think this is the difficulty that the rest of the House of Windsor have. And this is the question. This is my okay, 1 second, Top Chick. You can give me your point, but I'm going to lead into this question. What happens now to the rest of the royal household and their public relationship, no matter the distance, okay? It doesn't matter because we all know that they all coughed up to give money to Dufresne, okay? So therefore, what happens now with that relationship between the public and the rest of the royal family? How does that relationship work now? Let me
I
just go to Dami before I jump to you, Top Chick. Give me your thoughts, Dami, and then Top Chick, give me your thoughts.
Okay, I think they're finding out that the era of never explain, never complain is well over.
Mhm.
It's the internet age, and people are asking questions and people are talking. Like William found out the hard way when he was talking about mental health for men. And people were like, why on earth are you talking about mental health for men when your uncle has been accused of this? And the only thing you could say is, we're deeply concerned, blah, blah, blah. People are calling them out in real time and they are seeing it and it's affecting them. It's affecting their popularity. They love being popular. They love being able to get away with things because, like you said earlier, with the whole Camilla thing, she were on some engagement with the king recently, and somebody heckled her and asked her, "What's your thought on this? You are with women's charity and you haven't said anything. Why are you not saying anything? We're not going to sit back." And let you people carry on like business as usual. We're going to be asking questions. So yeah, back to your question. I think now they're finding out that it's not going to be business as usual. People are going to be talking and asking questions, and they must provide something. The king put out a statement that looked, I mean, at first glance, it looked, again, no real substance to it. Doesn't mention victims, doesn't mention, they're all trying to make the sexual offenses part of it kind of silent and disappear, and hoping people forget. People are forgetting every time. Like, sorry, I'm going on a bit. The
Okay.
latest writer of the hagiography of William and Kate, they're calling it that. He says it's a biography, but we all know how these things work. And so he's constantly talking about Harry and Meghan. Kate doesn't like Harry and Meghan. Kate doesn't trust Harry and Meghan. And everybody in the comment section was saying to him, no, we're not listening to that. We're not being distracted. You are not going to deflect from what's going on. We're not allowing you people to continue to use Harry and Meghan as your scapegoat. We're not letting it happen. So they literally dragged his existence in the comment section, and they dragged Kate and William because, again, this is supposed to be about them, but you keep talking about Harry and Meghan. So yes, people are on. It's not business as usual. We're talking and we're asking questions, and we're not letting them get away with it. Yeah.
Top Chick?
I think I think that there is the hubbub of the moment. I do not think that it will change the public's perception or relationship with the monarchy that much, to be honest. The one thing you can say about England is they love their monarchy. They love them. And that's the reality. They love them, and getting rid of them is not on their list of priorities. It isn't. It doesn't matter how much they cost it. None of the things that they even do. Because this is nothing. I mean, if you think about the Bowes-Lyons, they had their relatives locked up in some
It's not the
institution. But
same
God
time. It's a
knows.
different time
No,
now.
but what I'm saying is, yeah, you're right. It is a different time. It is a different
Mm.
time, but they're the same people. They are the same people. And nobody speaks about anything that they do with any great conviction. So there's a pattern of behavior that goes along with them. And anybody that I see it, the way I look at it, is that anybody that threatens their existence gets thrown under the bus. So if you look back when the obviously, let's go
Diana.
back to the Bows. Before Diana, look at the Bowes-Lyons. Like I said, they had those people locked up in an institution. They had Margaret kind of like pushed to the sidelines, so the woman was going quietly bonkers. That it's what they do. Then you had the whole Diana thing. And that's when obviously things became more public. But you just throw someone under the bus. Then it was Harry and Meghan. We throw them under the bus. Now it's Andrew. We throw them under the bus. It was Sarah. We threw her under the bus. Everybody that they think will destabilize and threaten the existence of monarchy gets pushed. Andrew, the problem they have with Andrew is that he is born to them. That's the problem they have with him, is he is born to them, which means it's not enough for them to do what they're doing, like the king's coming out, oh, boo-hoo, I'm so concerned, and this, that, and something else. It takes an act of parliament to remove him from the line of succession. So he might be sitting in a jail somewhere or in a police
He's
station,
still in
but it
line to
would
the
take
throne.
but he's still in the line of succession. They're not doing anything about that, which is why I say I don't think it will. Nothing much is going to happen. This is like red meat for the masses.
I don't agree
I
with you
don't.
there.
Okay, but this is what I think. I think it's like red meat for the masses. He is being hung out to dry for the time being. It's going to die down, and then your attention will be diverted somewhere else, and then he's going to be snuck back into, I don't know, Sandringham, Balmoral, wherever it is, where he's going to live out the rest of his days. That is what is going to happen. You might not see him in public, but so what? He is not he is not going to be removed in the way that people think he should be removed. It's not going to happen, because for that to happen, that would mean you have to acknowledge the damage that he has done, because that is a very public statement. We can all stand up and say whatever we want, but when it comes to actually doing something, that's a different matter altogether. Yes, oh, Prince Charles has stripped him of this. Charles can't do anything. He's still the Prince of Wales. I'm sorry. He's still the Duke of York. He is still Prince Andrew, because his mother was Queen. You have to remove that by an act of law to do that.
So you've got a supine parliament then. You've got a supine parliament. And the question was, how does that relationship impact with the public? And from what you're saying is, as far as you're concerned, this is not going to have an impact. So this is why I don't agree with you. Okay? I don't agree with you because I think the level of grossness is creeping out the public, because the public don't know the level of grossness, because they've been told all that stuff you're listening to is a conspiracy theory, but really it's in the files. So now the things that they see as the most abject horror, the manipulation, they talk in those files about the removal of Theresa May, there was a coup. It's all in the files. All these things are discussed. And I think, you see, the public is in a point of inflection. We don't forget where we are in the wider scheme of things. This country's had zero growth for 15 years. We've got unemployment at the moment coming up to 6%. Wow. The cost of living crisis is really making people's lives so difficult, let alone the cost of gas, lecky lighting and heating. And then you're saying they can't have an election, and you're putting up their council tax, and they now got 2 monthly collections of the bins. So I think those social pressures, let alone the PPE scandal, which involved the establishment, that all of these things are feeding into like a psyche with the public. So I think whilst they were like, the public's not going to change, I think they are going to change. There's a march, I think, in May from Republic. I think they've got a march happening in May.
I thought it was March. Oh, maybe you're right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm my bad. It could be. But I know Republic. Yeah, they having a march. I think you're going to see a lot more people demonstrating in those spaces because of what's happening. Because us as ordinary people, we're being told, look over at the rape gangs. Yeah. And what's allegedly happening is people are being flown in to assault people. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, the cooks come in and prepare a meal for them, and they do a business deal. This is more than just, oh my gosh, I like the king. No, this is, how come you had someone like this in the center of your fold, your entire family knew about it. We didn't get the details until the email dump, okay? Because I disagree with you on that other point, Top Chick. If it wasn't for the email dump, I don't think any of them would be arrested. Mandelson would have been sacked, but I don't think the rest of them would be. He would be like, the sacrificial fish. Because if you think what happened, there was a really glossy spread about Mandelson in the Sunday Telegraph. And you know what it said? I've had a spot of bad luck. Listen to the language. On the supplement, I've had a spot of bad luck. And some of it was my own making. The language itself is minimized given what they were doing and how they were doing it. So I don't think people are in the place to continue thinking You know what? No, no, no. I think people want to see more than just warm words. They want to see more than that. And I
Mm,
think it's going to be something that's going to. I see you nodding. You jump on in a second, Dami. Yeah, jump on afterwards. Yeah. I think that people want more than just, oh dear, we're having an assessment. No, this guy was a spy. He was giving away state secrets. He was
mm.
allegedly involved in SA, grape, and a whole range of other things. I don't think the public's going to let it slip. I mean, look how crackers they went over Rotherham.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
but I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. You can compare the two things.
Let
I
me just bring
genuinely.
Dami and then you jump on Top Chick. Yeah, go on,
Right.
Dami.
It's with the popularity, I don't know if you've heard about it. There've been polls by reputable bodies. I cannot remember the name now, who've polled people, and the popularity for the monarchy has gone down.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think it's going to be business as usual. Yes, maybe there might be some sort of distractions in the middle, but this is not going to go away the way they think it would go away, because again, it's been raging for quite a while. I mean, this is not new. He had his first interview when 2019, and here we are. So it's
The
not.
picture
I
was
don't think it's
2011.
2011. Yeah. So I don't think. Yes, maybe there'll be distractions at some point, and that they'll try to distract us. We know this. But I don't think it's going to work the way they think it work, or the way it worked in previous times. Their popularity has gone down. A lot of people are clamoring. I've been on across social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook. Everyone's saying the same thing. And also, how you know the tide has changed is if you see anybody try to say, "Oh, the poor queen. Oh, I'm so glad she's not here to witness this." The comments are like, "What on earth are you talking about? She was an enabler. Allegedly, we have to send it. Allegedly, she was an enabler. Nobody's calling her a sweet old woman anymore.
Yeah,
The love that they had for her, the conditioning that we were all conditioned to just love this woman for no reason, it's all clearing off. Everyone's
it's
like, nah, nah.
evaporating.
So no, I don't think it's going to be business as usual, and I hope it's not going to be. I mean,
Top
yeah.
Chick?
I think that these things move at a glacial pace. I think that, like I said, I think it's going to be business as usual. At the moment, of course, things are wild. We can't believe it's happening. It's monumental. Momentous, and all of those things. However, look at what it took to get here. It took somebody allegedly selling secrets from the state. That's what it took. And once that's cleared up, the rest is going to fade back into the background, in my opinion. The rest will fade back into the background because it's not that important. You said there are emails talking about the removal of a prime minister in this country. I mean, I did not like Theresa May particularly, but by God, I was appalled when I heard that. I could not believe that that was happening but these are those people. But where was the outcry? There was none. I'm sorry, but there wasn't any. But sell a few, send a few, I don't know, state secrets on or business deals or whatever it was, how to save tax. Oh, we all have to get up in arms about that. So no, I don't think so. I think these things move. Like I said, it's a glacier. It's not even a glacial place. I would say that it is a snail. It's less than a snail's pace. And I genuinely believe that these people will, at some point, become far more, they're going to come out, will, say the warm words and, oh, Uncle Andy's so terrible and blah, 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 blah. And then that's going to be it. And everyone's going to forget. The younger people, that's different. The younger people are becoming far more vocal. But in the end, it's not like people are calling for, I don't know, it's not like people are calling for suspension of the royal of the sovereign grant whilst we investigate. No one's doing anything like that.
Even if
No
they
one
did,
is.
who's gonna give that person any airtime to say, yeah, let's suspend the
No, but
sovereign grant,
my
let's
point
suspend
is
the Duchy of Cornwall?
but my point is the conversation is not around the usefulness or the need for monarchy in 2026. That's a small proportion of people. People are just talking about this one man, his alleged proclivities, and the fact that he may well have sent off or spoken out of turn on a few trade visits. The substantive issue, which is that so many women and girls, as you have just said, Denise, you got the police now investigating
Well, let me come
what's
to
been
that point,
going
yeah,
on
about the
in those
police.
very small, in those tiny little airports of like people being brought into the
Luton,
country, into
Stansted.
Stansted, all of these things. No one's talking about those things, though. That's my point. No one's talking about those things, and that
I
is
don't
part of
think.
this. Go on.
Yeah, finish the point.
No, I was just going to say, to me, that's the substantive issue. What's happened to all of these people? These people have been named, they have been shamed, and they're still going about their day-to-day business. He's a sacrificial lamb, and then he's going, like I said, he's going to go off into some lap of luxury somewhere. They'll probably send him to one of them Middle Eastern countries where he can just live out his life and whatever. That's probably what's going to happen to him. You know, and whatever. And that's going to
Okay.
be it. And then because his behavior brings the monarchy into disrepute. That's the point. Whether he did it or not isn't the issue. He's bringing us into disrepute. You can do what you do so long as no one knows. And
Okay,
then
so
when
this is
you
the
do
other
it,
point then.
now it's time to go.
Right. So this is the wider question, another question in relation to where the monarchy goes in the future. You now have a investigation being taking place
An
where seven
assessment.
police.
Sorry to
Yeah,
cut you. An
sorry,
assessment.
assessment. Sorry, thank you for correcting me, Chiq. You have an assessment taking place from 7 police authorities. I think I heard today on the radio that one of the select committees in Parliament are convening tomorrow to determine whether or not they need to start looking into some of the financial activities of the prince while he was a trade envoy. And that assessment is to determine if there should be an investigation. Now, this is the problem that the wider establishment has. You want us to obey the law. You want us as a public to have reverence for our institutions, the Houses of Parliament, the House of Lords, the monarchy itself, the Privy Council. You can't not be seen to be doing something. The police cannot be. We already have a question about the role of the close protection officers and how they potentially have compromised they've compromised the situation because while the principal is engaged in criminality, they are still members of the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they have a duty of care to the wider public. And we now have already, don't forget how little our faith is culturally in the system.
Mm-hmm.
We don't trust the news, we don't trust the institutions, we don't trust the education system or the religious systems. They've all shown themselves to be wanting. So for me, this situation is they have to rebuild public trust. And you cannot have public trust so shaken without them going for something to be done in a certain way. So back in the day, there was something called the Nolan Inquiry. And the Nolan Inquiry made representations about the people in the Houses of Parliament because they were all using their expenses to basically buy flats and ingratiate themselves and live. Then you had the Nolan Inquiry. And then out of that, you had standards in public life. So I don't see how they can't do something similar. You know, Jeremy Corbyn said he wants a public inquiry. I think that could potentially gain some traction. I don't know what your thoughts are, Dami.
Yes, I think that could gain traction. And I think, like we've all said, it's a different age, it's a different era. People are asking questions. People don't trust easily. People aren't going to trust easily. I do not think there's a single thing that the royal family can do to rebuild the people who've lost trust in them to have trust in them. I don't think there'd be nothing, because when you start to bring out things that they've done, like I've mentioned, Prince Charles' best friend was Jim Savile. He wrote a letter to Peter Ball and told him he didn't think he committed the crime. These things are down. They're written down. We always talk about them. We're always going to bring them out. So we cannot. People won't trust. You can't regain people's trust. We're in the era where people don't trust at all. So to regain trust, I can't think of a single thing what they could do right now that would make people have trust in them again. Even if they charge Andrew for sexual offences or anything, it's still not going to be enough. Unfortunately, that's where we are now. From what I've seen from people across social media. Again, people say, oh, social media is not real life, online life is different. But it does resonate, it does carry through, it absolutely does have an effect. And people aren't ready to trust them anymore. It's gone. And that's the reason why normally King Charles wouldn't even have written what he wrote today. Talking about, he wouldn't have said anything. I mean, it's been going on years. He never said anything. He never issued any statement. And then suddenly it's now, where Andrew, but he didn't have to say my brother or anything like that, writing statements that they would ordinarily not write, because they're starting to realize that the tide has changed. People are talking more, and it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, we may be distracted after a while, but it is never going to go away completely. That's my.
Do you think that the royals can rebuild public trust?
I think that loads of people have to die before they have to before the royals family is before anything happens. To be honest, like I said, it's a glacial place, and I think that once this is going to die down, it is. I mean, Dami said, Prince Charles was friends with Jimmy Savile. Who knew? We've known that for years. Everyone knows that.
Where did Jimmy Savile get all that money from? What was he doing for that?
I don't know, but my point is, everybody knew that. Everybody knows about the Mountbattens. Everybody knows about the fact that like I said, the Bowes Lions had their relatives locked up. People know. These are not things that are unknown. Yes, there are people saying now, asking questions about monarchy, but are they interested in it from a point of view that we want a different system, or are they saying, the equality of it all, the inequality of it all? And those people, no one's going to give all that stuff up without a fight. They're not. So there are so many people, you've got to remember that you have the immediate royal family, as well as all the wider royal family, and then the wider still royal family. Those people have lives. Those lives depend on the fact that that institution exists. You can have, I'm sure there's people in there, you've always got some private secretary or something like that. These people, you would have people that have been in them. You don't survive for 1,000 years without a bit of scandal. You do not survive for 1,000 years without a bit of scandal. And
right, I'm just going to say,
the only difference that they would be now, the difference is that they would probably have taken care of somebody like the Queen's second son themselves. Because if you look back in history, they were always willing to do each other in or overthrow each other and what have you. If you were waiting for the public to do that, that was never going to happen. And yes, you're right. We are in the age of social media and all of those sorts of things. But they've been around for 1,000 years. They're not going to give that up without a fight. No, they're not.
Okay, just hold that point. We've got 6 minutes left. And I wasn't going to do another link because obviously the time is getting on and we all got things to do. And one of the things that I wanted to just say is that this has been a wonderful Friday evening. And one of the things that I really enjoy about our Friday is that everyone's so relaxed because we're all having a nibble and we're all having a nice salty snack. Tyrell, if you want to sponsor the show in future, please do get in touch. I do like these. And also, I've been enjoying a lovely glass of wine. And I would like to do, before we think about concluding, I think we should end on something positive. I'd like us all to raise our glasses to the Sussexes, to Harry and Meghan and Lilibeth and Archie. Thank God you're not in that.
Exactly. You're not in that melee.
You're not in that. and this is to the future and the success of your entire family. And you know what's really important? Who knows what plans they had for Meghan and those children? This is the reason why we need to raise our glasses even further for the safety of the family and for the good stewardship of the Duke, keeping them out of harm's way.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, I wanted to ask you a quick story. Thank you. What do you think that the Duke and Duchess is? Do you think that they're going to try and bring them in to rehabilitate the House of Windsor? Because don't forget, Harry's coming here for Invictus. Yeah. Oh my God, we've only got 4:34. You guys, I have got this. You're going to have to make your comments in 1 single minute. So do you think they're going to try and bring Harry and Meghan back in so that they can rehabilitate? Let's go, Dami.
I don't think they would. William doesn't want it, so it's not going to happen. Harry and Meghan, I doubt they want it, so it's not going to happen. So no.
That was 30 seconds. Top Chiq.
Oh, I think they might try. And I think there'll be a lot of rehabilitation in the media of Harry and Meghan. I definitely think that William is just a spiteful child, isn't he? Spiteful man-child. But, you know, I think they might try to, but their lives are so far removed, and they're living their best life. She's got TV shows and wine and candles and chocolate bars. Why would you want to be in that mess?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Which we cannot get, and I'm well, Gel. But the point is that she's got all of these things. Harry has never had so much fun in his entire life. He has the family he wants, with the wife he wants, in the house he wants, in the sunshine that he craved. He is looking happy, moisturized, hydrated.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why are you going to come back to this mess?
Let's raise our glasses to hydrated husbands and partners.
Long may they stay that way. Long may they thrive.
And long may they stay like that. Why would you? Why would you? But I do think, though, on a serious note, I do think that the press are going to, all of a sudden, you will start to see how Harry and Meghan are so marvelous, and this and that and something else, because they have to try to rehabilitate them in the way that they have rehabilitated others in the minds of the public. I think the difference will be that they just ain't coming back. No, they're not. They've got fabulous lives. I want that life. Put it that way.
Not
necessarily with Harry, but you know. Okay.
Do you think they'll be coming back or trying to scrape some of that, nice proximity? Because it's about proximity to greatness for the royals. Invariably, they're always putting themselves next to somebody.
I think so. And I think one of the problems that they're going to also have is because William's so spiteful and selfish and all of those things. You can't keep covering up for that. Look what's happened to your uncle. You can't keep coming up. You can't keep covering up for that. Then all of a sudden, then Harry is going to be this and Harry that and something else. So he's got options. He can either continue to be spiteful and hateful and horrible, or reach out to your brother and hope some of that stardust rubs off on you.
Can I just say, Damian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining the Royal Corner Extra this week. It's been a joy to spend my Friday with you. And I do hope that you would consider coming again onto the Royal Corner Extra, where we can dissect and chew and deal with all of these little bits. Top Chiq, it's always a joy to have you in the space.
Thank you for inviting me.
The Royal Corner. Pardon, darling?
I said thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's okay. It's been a real joy to see you both. And all I can say to you guys is do look forward to the release of the piece of content, the Royal Caller Extra. Share it with your community, share it with your friends and your family so we can grow. Do not forget to listen to the Headley Highlight Show, which is your weekly Friday night political talk show for news, views and conversation with me, your host, c'est moi, Denise Headley, where I dissect all of the stories in the week along with my Royal Corner. And that's it. And you know what I love? I love the fact that we are women who are just doing stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed myself.
No problem. Oh, thank you, Dami. Lovely to see you. Thank you, Top Chiq. I'm going to stay on because I've got to do the recording. But guys, I'll let you know when it comes out. Peace to everybody.
Thank you.
I'll catch you on TikTok, Dami, because I do. Do I follow you? I don't know, but I always like your stuff.
I think I've seen your name somewhere.
Yeah, it would have been there.
Cheers, darling.
Right.
Have a
Bye,
good
guys. Thank
weekend.
you so much. Thanks, Top Chick.
Bye.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this week's Royal Corner Extra. Don't forget to come back